our YouTube feed. It's been giving us a little bit of trouble. If you'll bear with us for just a second as we allow others to jump onto this space. It looks like that's not going to happen, but throughout our conversation this evening, I'm going to be monitoring the comment section of Temple's Facebook Live page in case you have any questions for us. I'm so glad that you are joining us this evening.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
How are you doing?
That's a loaded question, isn't it? I'm a little unsettled, I think, like everyone else. I'm doing as much as I can to keep things as normal as possible, which is sort of helpful as much as it can be at this time. Glad to be hopefully imparting some information to other people to be helpful to them tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm sorry for that noise interruption as she was answering. You can see that I brought up the question box. If you have a question as we go throughout our conversation, you're able to ask that question of us while we're in this space. I'm going to start us off with a few questions. You are in active practice right now. What are you seeing? What sense are you getting from the people you're meeting with?
Well, Aaron, everyone's anxious. Everyone's anxious. And I treat mostly mood and anxiety disorders in my practice. And so naturally, those folks who already have pre-existing anxiety are feeling more anxious now that we are all spending a lot more time apart from those that we care about. And we've made a lot of changes in our day-to-day routines. What I've said to the folks I've been working with is that, this anxiety during this time is really normal. And in fact, I would honestly be concerned if folks weren't experiencing a little bit of anxiety or unsettled feelings. We're living in a very uncertain time, and things are changing very rapidly, and our lifestyles have changed very rapidly. Truly, you're not alone. If you're out there and you're feeling anxiety right now, you're in very, very, very good company, because I think most of us are at least experiencing a little bit. Also, what's changing in my practice, and I was just telling you this before we went live, is I've taken my practice from a physical office to now transitioning to 100% virtual sessions. So this past week, I still welcomed patients into my physical office with a lot of different protocols in place to keep everybody as clean and safe as possible. But I did start transitioning some folks to virtual sessions. This week and the weeks ahead, I am 100% virtual, which is very, very, very different and unusual for me. So it's been a learning curve.
Absolutely. I think we're all getting used to these uses of technology, and I'm so grateful to everyone who is watching us and bearing with us as we work to get this right. One of the things I've been saying to people is you have to be gentle, not only with us as we work out the technology, but with yourselves as well, because you're doing it too.
Yes, and it's a lot more complicated than it looks. So, speaking of anxiety, those of us like myself who have made major work transitions, if you are lucky enough to still be able to work, you've probably had some major changes over the past week or two. A lot of folks that are still able to work are working from home or working remotely. It's very different. It is very, very different. For somebody like me who's in a healthcare profession, it is very unusual to be working from a space that is not face-to-face with another person. But, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's actually been pretty awesome, pretty productive and pretty awesome. So I'm feeling good about it.
Good. So as I'm monitoring the comment box, allowing those who have a question to be able to ask it, I see a hello from Spencer, so I want to be sure to pass that along.
Hi, buddy.
As we were preparing to go live, I also got, speaking of children, I got a text message from my father that said, I haven't felt this level of anxiety since my son was serving in Iraq. Maybe it's time to turn off the news.
Yes.
How would you respond to people who are getting sucked into the vacuum?
Right here on the list that I wrote out. I actually prepared a list that I want to share with everybody tonight of suggestions I'm making. And right here in bold capital letters is do not watch the news constantly. I have talked to so many folks who are glued to their TV sets. And, it's so important to get the information that we need. I do not mean to tell you to turn off the news completely, but I've been telling people, limit yourself. Turn it on in the morning. Get your morning updates. Before you go to bed, turn it on. Watch your 10 o'clock news, your 11 o'clock news, your CNN, whatever your channel of choice is, just to get the information that you need. Most news channels are talking about the coronavirus or COVID-19 24/7 right now. It's enough to raise anybody's anxiety. And I think you're actually doing yourself more of a disservice. So yes, you can pass that on to your dad. I think that's a great idea. One of the big suggestions I've been giving to people all week is turn off the news, go outside, turn something else on TV. Too much news is not good for any of us, especially during national times of crisis. I have said this to patients over the years during other times, when there's been, natural disasters, school shootings. So many of us tune into the news to get the headlines and to know what's going on, but too much of it can be pretty depressing and anxiety provoking. So turn the news off. Absolutely.
There are so many things that are anxiety producing, and sometimes it can start to feel overwhelming. What would you say to someone who says it's becoming too much, this anxiety? We've moved from, wow, everybody's feeling a baseline concern to
Sure.
This isn't impacting how I can navigate the world. What would you say when it starts to become overwhelming?
I think that the first suggestion I would have is try to take a step back and try to make self-care and coping skills your number one priority. And give those a little bit of a shot first. And so by that, I mean, things that are inherently relaxing to you. This is the time to pull all of those things out. Anything that you have ever done in your life that you have found to be relaxing or enjoyable that you are able to do from your home, this is such a great time to be doing that. And so, whether it's listening to music or playing music, knitting, crocheting, adult coloring books. I've told some of my adult patients, pick up an adult coloring book, have Amazon deliver you an adult coloring book. Exercise if you are able to. Get some fresh air, open your windows and get some sunshine. Any coping skills you're able to engage in are so helpful right now, meditation is also something that I've been suggesting to folks, and there are some pretty well-known apps that anybody can download for free that are now offering all of their content for free. It's actually been publicized a lot in the past couple of days. So there's a lot of good research out there on the positive effects that meditation can have. And there's a lot of great technology that we can now use to make that happen pretty easily for us. So I recommend the Calm app, Headspace, Insight Timer. Those are three of countless ones that I refer people to. Great time to start doing a little bit of that, just to get that baseline and that extra anxiety down a little bit. Keeping a regular schedule is the other thing that, if it's feeling like it's too much, check yourself. Make sure that you have not let yourself get kind of off the tracks in terms of your day-to-day life. Get up in the morning. Get your day started however you normally do, with your cup of coffee, a shower. I'm telling folks, get dressed for the day. Put on your shoes. Even if you're not walking into an office or leaving the house, just to kind of keep yourself in some sort of regular routine. Schedule things like your work time, your exercise time, your time to socially connect with others via phone, FaceTime, and go to bed at the same time that you normally do. One of the biggest mistakes we make when there's such a change in our day-to-day life is we totally go off schedule. We end up staying up too late, sleeping in, getting up early, and once again, sleep is absolutely paramount to.
I'm here with clinical psychologist Dr. Julie Bowden, who is sharing with us some tips and tricks, some things we need to be concerned about at this time as we try to navigate the news of the day. And if you don't mind, I'm not sure where we got cut off. Let me ask you that question one more time.
Absolutely.
As others are able to jump over on this feed. If you had asked a question on the previous live feed, don't worry, we'll be able to get those questions worked in at the end of our program this evening. We know that social isolation is an important thing that we can be doing for this health and safety of others, and yet that comes at a tremendous cost. It costs our economy in terms of real dollars and cents, but it also comes at a great emotional and physiological toll to us. What warning signs should we be watching for in ourselves and others?
Sure, and that's a great question. And for those of you that are just tuning in, the first thing I said that I've been saying a lot over the past week or two is please remember that social distance is not social isolation, that we absolutely want to make sure that we are keeping very, very good social distance and doing what we're supposed to be doing to help flatten the curve, as everybody has been saying. But isolation is where we start getting a little concerned. Yes, there's a big distinction. And so, once again, any way that you can connect with those in your life, whether it's looking out your window and waving at your neighbors, whether it's phone calls. I even suggested to some people, go back to writing old-fashioned letters just to feel connected. The mail is still being delivered. The warning signs, Erin, is what you asked me about. And what we're going to be concerned about is when we start seeing things such as, first and foremost, physical symptoms. You're going to start feeling more aches, more pains, maybe headaches, tiredness, changes in your sleep. Whether you're sleeping more or you're sleeping a lot less than you used to. Some folks that are isolated or struggling with anxiety and depression will wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to fall back asleep, or will wake up very early in the morning. Mental health symptoms such as feeling hopeless, having panic attacks, worrying more often than not, feeling paranoid, feeling like, you're just not quite yourself. I also tell folks to look out for things such as having low energy, a major dip in your interest in things that used to be interesting to you. We know that you're making a lot of changes in your life and that there are a lot of things that you're not able to do right now that you used to do. But those things you're still able to do, we want to see that you're interested and you're motivated and you have energy for those things. If that starts dipping a lot, that's when I get concerned. Diet changes, diet problems, such as all of a sudden having no appetite or having an insatiable appetite. Substance use is something that I would want to look out for. So if somebody's telling me that they're starting to drink more frequently or more, if they've started or are using more drugs than they were. And finally, most importantly, any suicidal ideation. If you're thinking about harming yourself at this time, that is not okay. And that is absolutely something that I would want people to make sure they're seeking appropriate help for. So those are the symptoms that I'm most concerned about. You're going to notice, you're going to feel a little different, everybody. You're going to feel a little different. We're all a little off right now. Everybody's off their routines, off their schedules. We're all a little anxious. A little different is okay. When you start noticing these major differences, major sleep changes, appetite changes, not feeling like doing anything for days or weeks on end, dipping further and further away from other people, that's when I'm going to be concerned.
Sure. If it happens, if we start to notice those things within ourselves, where do we turn? What should people do?
Sure. And there's a lot of great resources. And thankfully, I'm thrilled that there has been some time on the news and in the media devoted to care for one's mental health during this time. It's so important. Just as important as your physical health is to be taking care of your mental health always, and especially right now. There's a lot of local resources here in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to start with those for those of us who are tuning in locally. First and foremost, Resolve Crisis Hotline, Resolve Crisis Network, is a wonderful 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service, a phone number that you can call and be connected to a trained counselor who can talk to you and kind of assess you for where you're at. Resolve Crisis Network, 1-888-796-8226. They are local to here in Pittsburgh. There are several national hotlines and resources out there right now. Crisis Text Line is a great one, and that's one that I recommend to a lot of my younger patients that I work with. Those of us that spend a lot of time texting. You can actually text PA to 741-741, and once again, be connected via text to a trained professional who you can talk to over text message and have a connection with, and they can assess you and determine whether you need to be seeking more intensive services at this time or not. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and on their website they have a wonderful 13-page resource that talks about emotional support during this time. If you Google NAMI, N-A-M-I, COVID-19, it will pop right up as your number one hit. And like I said, they have a great 13-page resource as well as their helpline phone number listed, which is 800-950-NAMI, N-A-M-I. The CDC website also has wonderful links regarding taking good care of your emotional health. So these are just a couple of listings that I've suggested to you all. Certainly, if you are feeling at all like you do not want to go on, if you're feeling like you are a danger to yourself, that's the time to call 911. That's the time to call 911. Normally I say go to the emergency room. Right now I'm going to say call 911. And those folks are all trained to come in, assess you, and just check on your safety. And thankfully, once again, we've been doing a much better job at educating professionals in all different capacities, from our first responders to, police officers and, just our local mayors and, everybody basically, about the importance of mental health. So there's a lot of good folks out there that can help.
Wonderful. A question from those who are joining us on this live feed, and I know we had some technical issues. I'm so glad that you are sticking with us as I have the opportunity to sit with Dr. Julie Bowden asking some questions about the challenges of this day. If you have questions, I invite you to put them on the Facebook page. I'm monitoring it as we go so that we might bring them into our conversation.
Sure.
For someone who is working in what is now a high-risk field, whether that is working as a nurse or working in a hospital in any capacity, whether that's working in a warehouse and feeling like you can't take off because you either don't have the sick days and you can't financially afford it, or because of the pressure to be helping, how would you respond? That can produce a very high level of anxiety in people.
Incredible anxiety. And first of all, I would say thank you. Thank you so much to those of you that are out there that are on the front lines, whether it's because you're working in healthcare and you're caring for those in need, whether you're delivering packages or supplies to those who need it, whether you're a first responder. I thank you so much. This is such a challenging time for so many people, and we need you. So first of all, I'd like you to hear that you are so appreciated by so many of us out there. I would say to those folks, do your very, very best to carve out some self-care time. We all talk about self-care. It's kind of this silly buzzword now. there's memes about it. But truly, self-care is, as much as it sounds so obvious, it is so far from so many people's minds, especially right now. That's when I want you, if you're on the front lines, to ask yourself during the day, what have I done for myself today? Have I eaten? Have I taken time to go to the bathroom? Have I taken a couple minutes just to take some deep breaths? If the answer to those questions is no, stop. Stop whenever you can and do those things. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. Even if it's as simple as a 5-minute walk up and down your driveway just to get some fresh air and to be outside with, thankfully the beautiful spring weather that we're having here in Pittsburgh. Take time for that self-care and know how appreciated you are.
You mentioned a number of things that one can be doing in terms of self-care.
100%.
You've shared some great apps for meditation. You've shared many different ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can hear it enough. Would you hit us with just
I have a list.
going through all of those things we might do?
Let me make you a list right here of things that you can do right now for yourself that don't require you to even leave your house. Like I said before, deep breathing. Tons of awesome ways to practice your deep breathing. My Apple Watch has a breathe app on it that I use. So it's as simple as plugging into any technology that you might have. And if you don't have any technology, nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Meditation, journaling, coloring, taking a warm bath or a shower, reading. I love reading of any kind because it distracts our mind from the worries that we're having. So I don't care if you're reading the back of a cereal box or if you're reading the great American novel or anything in between. Reading is wonderful because it distracts our brain from all of the worries.
I feel like I have to put in a pitch at this point. Rabbi Jessica Lockett is going to be leading the community in a study of Dara Horan's Guide for the Perplexed. She won the National Jewish Book Award several times over. She's an amazing novelist who fits more Judaism into square foot of her novels than I managed to fit into Torah study. So I invite you to pick that up and discuss it with us as a congregation. You're right, it helps us take our minds off of
it does.
the current circumstances.
I always recommend to folks, when you're worrying a lot and there's a lot of heavy stuff on your mind, anything that engages the left side of your brain. So that's when I talk about reading, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, get some jigsaw puzzles. Again, all can be delivered to your house. Anything that requires you to do some math problems, help your child with their homework, if they have any schoolwork that they've been assigned virtually. Anything that you can do to kind of access that part of your brain. Turn off the emotional part of your brain for a little while. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to turn it off every once in a while, just like the news. We can turn off the emotions sometimes too. Other things, go for a walk, do some gentle stretching, knit, crochet, watch a movie. Reorganize things in your house. I can't tell you how much cleaning and organizing has been going on at my house. And my husband will tell you, he's watching. I was actually washing my blinds today. I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think I've ever done that before. So anything like that, that is distracting, that is a little bit physical, that engages the left part of your brain, and certainly, most importantly, use this time to connect in other ways with those who you love. So whether by phone, by email, by text, by FaceTime, by Facebook, however you can connect with others, write a letter. Such a great time. I've been spending more time connecting with people this week in isolation than I have in months. I'm really taking more time to connect with those who I love, and it's been wonderful.
That's right. I spent the first 10 years of my rabbinate telling people they needed to step away from technology to truly be present with those whom they love. And
Now,
the opposite. You have to
right.
embrace technology, to embrace them. So do it.
I encourage you to. And if you're watching this, I assume you have access to technology. But for those of you who have elderly relatives or folks at home even who don't have access to that, nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned telephone call. I think most of us have a phone. Make a call and check in on those who you love. Just say hi.
I so appreciate your time this evening, sharing with us some of these ways that we can navigate the situation of the day. Thank you to everybody who has been watching us and posting comments. If you have any last questions or comments, now would be a wonderful time. Is there anything I haven't asked? Is there anything that you want to make sure people hear at this juncture?
Honestly, you hit everything. I think the one thing that I want to remind folks is truly you're not alone. Like I said at the beginning of our talk together, all of us are feeling a little off right now. And you're not alone. It's okay, and it's going to be okay, and we're going to get through this together. We truly are. Reach out to those who need you right now. Reach out and ask for help from those who you need help from. Don't be afraid to reach out for professional help if you need it. Us in the mental health field, we are working right now a lot and working on a volunteer basis as well. There's been a lot of awesome changes that have been made to open up access to professional help as well. Reach out. Contact your health insurance company for referrals. You can certainly ask Rabbi Aaron or myself, and I'm happy to get referrals out there to anybody who needs it. You're not alone.
It's wonderful. Thank you. And I was posting those phone numbers and links you gave us as you were saying them, so you can check the comment box for some additional resources. Just one last comment from the Facebook live stream that I want to share with you. It says, Temple is so lucky to have Julie, and I couldn't agree more.
Wow,
Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you all. My suspicion is we're in this for the long haul.
Yes.
We should do this again sometime.
I'm happy to do this anytime you want. You just let me know. I'll be here.
Great. Thank you. And thank you all so much.
Thank you all. Bye.